Hi guys, it's Mishel, Deception Bytes, and I'm bringing you today's Q posts, April 19th, and it is 10:36 Eastern Standard Time, so I will bring you up to date as of that time. If there are additional posts this evening, I will bring those to you tomorrow. So let's get started because we've got a lot to go over. The first post by Q is this. He's asking, why are the Democrats aggressively attacking Pruitt? Why is the mainstream media aggressively attacking Pruitt? Excuse me. Are you awake? No, obviously not. Q. So, before we take a look at that link, let's go down to this right here. And I grabbed this from Twitter, obviously. And it says, there's definitely more to this QAnon post about Pruitt. He knows. He knows Dems and Obama were using the EPA as a massive slush fund for deep state antics. I have a feeling the EPA was involved in one of the most massive money laundering schemes in world history. And then he shows this that we're going to go out to right now. And Q left this link for us. Sessions investigating slush fund used by left-wing groups. So Attorney General Jeff Sessions is investigating up to $6 billion in legal settlement money that the Obama administration steered towards progressive causes and allies in left-wing advocacy groups. A memo sent to U.S. Attorney on July 28th, published Friday by Breitbart News, ordered a review of a decade's worth of payouts that congressional Republicans have called a political slush fund. Uh-oh. Fire in the hole. Yeah. Former Attorneys General Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch regularly arrange for major corporations to make large, quote, donations to left-leaning groups like Unidos US, formerly the National Council of La Raza, and Neighbor Works America during settlement negotiations to end banking, environmental, civil rights, and other federal lawsuits. The group getting the money were not victims in the cases or parties to the lawsuits, and Republicans say they had no proper claim to the cash. Well, when's that ever stopped the Democrats? Come on. That means that all punitive damages awarded in the cases should have gone directly into the U.S. Treasury, say Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee who probed the scheme in 2015. Instead, $3 billion of the multi-billion-dollar 2013 agreements with Citigroup and Bank of America to settle cases related to mortgage-backed securities went to community organizing groups. Well, isn't that something? The $17 billion Bank of America deal gave the bank extra credit if it donated $100 million or more to activist groups approved by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The list included, Unidos. I left this till late to do because I had some stuff to do beforehand, and it's like the sleepies are attacking me. The list included Unidos US, which advocates for illegal immigrants, the National Community Reinvestment Coalition, left-leaning housing lobbyist group, Operation Hope, which pushes banks to lend to unqualified mortgage applicants in Los Angeles, and the Mutual Housing Association of New York, a spin-off of the controversial community organizing group Acorn. Volkswagen was forced to spend $2 billion to promote and develop zero-emission vehicles as part of a 2016 settlement. Third-party donations have been included in federal settlements since 1970s, but the Obama administration ramped up the practice as an end run around the Republican-controlled House, which slashed federal funding for politically connected housing counseling organizations in 2011. Sessions ordered a stop to the strategy in June. Good guy. Trust Sessions. According to Q. Settlement funds should go first to victims and then to the American people, not to the political friends of whoever is in power, Sessions said at the time. The investigation will be the first tally of the cash that ended up in the hands of left-wing special interests and signals a new willingness on Sessions' part to scrutinize Obama administration activities. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has taken a very weak position on Hillary Clinton crimes, where are emails and DNC servers and intel leakers, Trump tweeted on July 25th. Okay, and there's his tweet. And Sessions vowed to chase down government leakers and to pressure reporters to give up their sources in a Friday press conference on the problem that has bedeviled his boss since his inauguration. Department of Justice spokesman did not respond to a request for comment. And Pruitt, I believe, is the head of the EPA, which apparently a lot of this was being funneled through. So, interesting. Let's go on. Now, this is interesting, and you've probably already heard it, but Rudy Giuliani is now been retained for as Trump's legal counsel, which is interesting. That's an interesting move. Now, let's see why that's such an interesting move. So Q says, Rudy, we're going to go out and look at that in a second, but underneath he says New York City. Then he says, so this is obviously, and of course we connect Rudy Giuliani with New York City, right? Everybody does. But it's interesting that he put that there. So that's important for some reason, and probably has to do with why he was retained. Relationships high. I think what he's saying is Rudy has friends in high places in New York City. That's what I think he's saying. Insurance file. Well, when have we heard Q use that word before? That exact phrase, insurance file. Well, it's what was contained on Weiner's laptop. And and we know that file contains the Hillary Clinton file that made the New York City police officers, hardened New York City police officers, throw up and cry. So we know that it's pretty hideous. Now, Q says, quiet until now. So I think what he is saying is he, meaning Rudy, is in possession of the insurance file from Weiner's laptop that the New York City police took possession of. Because remember, Rudy has friends in high places. So, yeah. Now, then Q says quiet until now, meaning, they have been quiet about it until now. And everybody's been asking, well, what about that, what they found on Weiner's laptop? Why hasn't that come out? Well, where is that? Well, what if that was made up? What if, people are freaking out about that. Like, oh, come on already. Like, we want it. Well, maybe there was some reason why they couldn't get it. I don't know. Maybe there's some reason why Rudy can. He is a lawyer, obviously, or he wouldn't have been retained. Then it says, join POTUS legal team. So Rudy has now joined POTUS legal team, and he is in possession of the insurance file from Weiner's laptop. Direct discussions available now with Mueller. Does that mean that now that they have this insurance file, that they can have direct discussions available with Mueller? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Exactly. That's how I would take it, unless, again, leave comments if you have a different take on that, because I learn a lot from you guys, and as you can see, I'm not always right. And while I'm on that subject of not always being right, I wanted to note that you guys picked up. I can't even believe that I didn't pick up that Q had said the Delta flight, the engine, and it was a Southwest airline engine fire that the woman got sucked out of. So there was another engine fire, which was a Delta. And what he was saying was, do you think this is a coincidence? Like how common is this? This is not real common. So I kind of missed that. So I apologize for that, but I'm glad that you guys are on the ball. Takes all of us. It takes a village to decode a Q post. Anyway, so then he says, enjoy the show. So there must be something coming up with all this, right? If we're going to enjoy the show. They never thought she would lose. Careless. Q. And I think that they were careless because I don't really think that they, in their wildest dreams, ever thought Trump would get in. Partly because of their own, they're pretty high on themselves. And I just don't think that they thought he could win. And I think that they misjudged the American people, as they always seem to do, because they don't care about the American people. They don't care what the people have to say and the things that concern them and their everyday lives, their workaday lives. Most of them are multi-millionaires, which I don't know how they could be based on what they supposedly earn. But, I guess that's what you get when you're crooked. Well, money won't do them much good, really. Okay, let's move on. So, Q makes reference to this post here and then adds, we have everything. How can we use what we know? How do you legally inject / make public / use as evidence? What are you witnessing unfold? Trust the plan. Q. Well, it's evident to me that what's unfolding with Giuliani is them being able to legally inject or make public or use as evidence what is on that laptop. I don't know how, but that's what I think. I mean, Trump is he's pretty brilliant. You have to admit, these people that think that he's just some whatever, they've really misjudged him, because I just see the strategy here that he has, and it's unbelievable. It's brilliant. So that's what I believe. I believe that whatever's unfolding here with Giuliani and so forth, and what was on that laptop, which is obviously pretty incriminating, that is how they're going to be able to legally inject that or make it public or use it as evidence. Now, what that looks like, how that's possible, I don't know, but that's what I read from this. That's what we're witnessing unfold. So this thing with Giuliani is it's a strategy. It's just another chess move. Trust the plan. Q. So let's move on. Okay. Now, this, okay, who is he referring to here? 115, I'm not sure. Oh, here, okay. He's referring to his own post where he says, we have everything. And then he says, EO, which is executive order, treason, update, read, study the EOs, follow the pen. EOs post pen pics. So let's take a look at what he's saying. Well, let's read the whole thing before we get into what it means. Then he says, connect, learn, sky event, Q. So let's begin to take this apart. I'm going to leave this for a second, this treason, okay? And let's come down to here. Study the EOs, follow the pen. EOs post pen pics. Okay, he wants us to study the executive orders and follow the pen. So it's the executive orders that have come after Q has posted pen pictures. So I went back and I dug out all the pen pictures. Okay, and the pen pictures occurred 12/12/17, 1/06/18, and 1/24/18. So those are the executive orders, and it says post pen pics, so it's after these dates. And these are the executive orders that we need to target, right? And look at. So this one was signed 12/21/17, and this is the executive order that's blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. And we've discussed this, at great length in, previous videos. So I don't think that we need to visit that now. I think we all know pretty much what that involves. Now, there's a little bit of confusion with the next one because the next pen picture was posted January 6th of this year, 18. And there was one posted January 8th, an executive order. There was one posted January 12th. So it's one of these that he's referring to. And the one January 8th was streamlining and expediting requests to locate broadband facilities in rural America. And the next one, January 12th, now these are both post pen pic, supporting our veterans during their transition from uniformed service to civilian life. Now, if I had to pick one, I would say that it's the supporting our veterans one, but I don't know. So, I know this one's right, the one blocking the property of persons, and I know the last one's right because it was signed January 24th, 2018. This one was signed January 30th. So it's post pen pic, and it's the very next one after the pen pic. And it's protecting America through lawful detention of terrorists. So these two, they're connected in some way. And it's saying connect them. He's saying study the EOs, follow the pen. EOs post pen pics. Well, we've done that, okay? Now he's saying connect, learn. Well, out of all of these, like one of these things just doesn't belong here, would be this one, broadband facilities. The veterans, supporting the veterans, protecting America through lawful detention of terrorists, and blocking the property of persons involved in, I guess, I don't know. I guess these could be connected because if you're blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse and getting money from there and confiscating and freezing that money and confiscating their assets, then you could use that money to support the veterans during their transition from uniformed service to civilian life and make their life better, because we all know that the veterans have a very raw deal in America and in Canada. So, and there hasn't been enough health care for them and so forth. So maybe that's how they're connected, and then they're going to protect America through lawful detention of terrorists. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense, and I think that this one doesn't belong. So, yeah. All right, so connect. All right, we connected them. Learn. Did we learn anything? And sky event. Sky event. Now, okay, my first inclination was, it's going to be an event in the sky, right? I think that's probably how everybody's mind would work. So I thought, could be Could be something like a missile. It could be, a UFO. It could be fireworks. It could be any number of things. But I don't think that's what he's saying. Because he capitalized this. And if he was talking about the sky as in the sky, I don't think he would have capitalized this. So, what can SKY stand for? Well, I looked it up, and I'm not saying I'm right. I have no idea what this means, okay? I'm being flat up honest with you. But I'm throwing some things out there. If you guys have any additional suggestions, please, by all means, leave a comment. Just 1 second. Excuse me. Now, SKY is the airport code for Griffin-Sandusky Airport, Sandusky, Ohio. Could be. Maybe there's going to be an event there. Maybe something's going to happen at that airport. I don't know. SKY is also an acronym used to refer to the 3 most prestigious universities in South Korea: Seoul National University, Korea University, and Yonsei University. The term is widely used in South Korea, both in media broadcast and by the universities themselves. Now, here's my third thing that I wondered about. SK, South Korea. And then Y, I don't know. I don't know what that would stand for, but I wonder if SK could stand for South Korea, Y event, or YE. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to keep working on that because I know that that's not a sky event. Something going to happen in the sky. I just have that feeling. It just would make sense to me because, he doesn't capitalize things just willy-nilly. So why would he capitalize SKY unless it stood for something? It's an acronym. Don't know. Now, up here, I was a little lost. Treason. Executive order, treason. Update. Read. Treason. Well, treason does not have anything to do with Trump. So, when I think of treason, I think of Obama. That's me. And the Hill Dog. Well, this could be related, but again, I don't know. So don't, think that I'm saying, oh, I know this and this is what it is, because I don't know. I'm like you, I'm trying to find the answers, and sometimes I'm quite confident that I found them, and other times I'm just not sure. But there were 5 new executive orders that Obama signed, and according to the Ohio Observer, Obama signs 5 new executive orders. They spell treason when connected. And this is what I'm thinking. This is my thought on this. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but let me see. While many have recently discussed the latest of Obama's executive orders as proof that he's preparing for martial law, implementation of the United Nations mandates, and the military takeover of the governance of all 50 states, it is important to read all 5 EOs together to get the full picture of what the federal government has planned for the America in the near future. So these are all, like this one, this was 2009, and it was designating Interpol as a public international organization entitled to enjoy certain privileges, exemptions, and immunities with Executive Order 13524. And to me, when I read through this, I think that Trump's executive order that he signed on the 21st of December would reverse that, But again, I don't know. Let me see what else. He amended that. He amended the one that was originally signed by Ronald Reagan, and it now reads, by virtue of the authority vested in me, it is thereby ordered that the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, is hereby designated as a public international organization entitled to enjoy the privileges, exemptions, and immunities conferred by the International Organizations Immunity Act. This designation is not intended to abridge in any respect the privileges, exemptions, or immunities which such organizations may have required or may acquire by international agreement or by congressional action. So I don't know. Would that, like, according to the executive order signed on the 21st, my understanding would be that there would be no immunity for anyone. That if you are caught in these acts, you are, that's what's going to happen. Confiscation, your assets are going to be frozen, and so forth. So I don't know if this is related or not, but it could be. And what else did he do? On December 29th, 2009, Obama issued 2 executive orders. The first one is entitled Classified National Security Information. This EO designates the following officials to originally classify information as top secret or secret. Executive Office of the President, the Assistant to the President, and the Chief of Staff, the Assistant to the President for National Security. So all these people are top secret, and then secret is Executive Office of the President, blah, blah, blah. Now, oh, this is interesting. The rest of the EO says any delegation of this authority shall be in accordance with Section 1.EC of the Executive Order, President, Vice President, and agency heads, except that the Director of the Information Security Oversight Office, the Secretary of Agriculture, and the Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency may not delegate the authority granted in this order. I don't know. I saw the EPA, and I knew that was involved in the present debacle. Anyway, I don't know. I would have to really look through these and really scrutinize it, because I haven't had time to do that. But I'm just wondering, what's this? Usurpation of state government by federal troops and Obama-appointed governors. I don't know, but it just seems to me that these were thought to be treasonous, and perhaps some of Trump's have, he's updated them so that they're not, I don't know. I'd have to go through all of this, and that takes time, but that's my thought anyway. I don't know if I communicated it well, to tell you the truth, but that's my thought on it. Now, let's move on. So, the next one, he's referring to this again, the same post, and then he says, push to divide is strong. And yeah, I think that we would all attest to that there is a huge push to divide. And even within those of us that are all on the same team, there's a push to divide us with fake Q posts and all sorts of nonsense. I mean, I was out on the boards tonight and I was looking at all the crap there. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, just to wade through the crap of all the people, and it's all this stuff about the Jews are responsible for everything, and, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. And that they're just throwing that stuff out there. Anyway. So, push to divide is strong. Think pre versus post 2016 election. So, yeah, there was after the election, there was a very, very strong push because, they wanted to discourage the Trump supporters, and they didn't want it to seem like he had the support that he did. So, I mean, yeah, there's a huge effort to divide. Why? Well, I think that's pretty obvious, right? Stay together, stay strong. We, the people, where we go one, we go all. JFK. Now, not sure why he threw JFK in there, to tell you the truth. Don't know. He was a great president, of course. JFK wanted to do away with the Fed. Is that related? I don't know. Push to divide is strong. Yep. Stay together, stay strong. So, yeah, we know that, but we know that there's a huge, huge effort right now to divide. All right. Now, this is interesting. Interesting. Okay. Big error. Pelosi admits travel to North Korea in the past. Also here, she admits it. Archive immediately. They have tried to cover this. Why is this relevant? These people will lose everything. Q. Oh, these people will lose everything. Well, how do they lose everything? Well, if they were involved in any of those things that he signed an executive order against, like human trafficking or terrorist activities or whatnot. So let's go see. Oh, and up here, Q refers to the same post, and he tells us to look at the 13-minute mark. So let's do that because, I don't want to listen to 15 minutes of Pelosi. I don't know about you, but, the good thing is that she traveled to North Korea in the past, but she probably doesn't remember it. Well, she obviously did here, but, let's go take a look. C-SPAN. She just, to me, and I don't know in the past, like she may have been a very sharp woman in the past, but there's obviously a problem here, and you can really tell the way she talks, but that's not why we're looking at this. Let's start it, and let me get to the 13-minute mark here.
Good morning. What a sad week for America, where we have our unity in the party. But this is not a divisive issue in our caucus. Yes, sir.
What are realistic expectations? About a month
it's coming up. We're at 12:51 right now.
Let me just say that as one of the few members of Congress who has been to Pyongyang, I did
hang on
years ago as a member of the Intelligence Committee.
Let me take that back, okay? Just a second, because I missed it. Okay, ready? Are you ready?
Well, let me just say that as one of the few members of Congress who has been to Pyongyang, I did a number of years ago as a member of the Intelligence Committee. It's a frightening place. It's a place that is, when I've seen poverty throughout throughout the world, as an appropriator and visited the world to see our initiatives and how helpful they might be in the alleviation of poverty, the eradication of disease. When I went to North Korea, I saw a poverty spirit that just was mind-boggling in many respects, and it's a difficult place. Our purpose then was to say, we want to talk about MIAs and POWs. We want you to stop proliferating, selling your missile technology, issues like that, checking in on the hunger situation because the people were starving, even though their motto was self-reliance, they couldn't feed their own people. And so what they told us then, and so what's relevant to now, is they said, hey, we just sell these this technology for money. You want to buy them? We'll sell them to you. And so what my guidance from there to the current situation is the capability of the North Koreans to create either the technology for a weapon, the miniaturization of it, the capacity to launch it, and the intention to do so is something that we need to know as much about as possible. But in addition to that, they're proliferators. And this is what I keep saying to the administration. They are proliferators. So the danger is not just what they might do. The danger is who they might sell one element of that to, which might be enough to endanger the world even further. So, hopeful conversation. Maybe Kim Jong-un is ready to change. I wouldn't be too trustworthy of it, but certainly open to it. And what would be success if at least the communication were increased, and there could be some way to stop what could follow if left undeterred, North Korea would continue what it's doing, which is perhaps other countries having access to the technology, the scientific know-how, the launch capacity, and dangerously the intention.
So, I find her, and I know that I stumble too, but I just find her very painful to listen to. And I know she was probably a very, very smart woman, but I don't know. Anyway, that's not why we were listening to that. So, did you hear all that? Interesting. And we're going to find out a little bit more now. Let's go back. But I also want to play you another time I found when I was going out there. This was provided to us by Q, but this I found and I thought it was very interesting as well, because it's a very odd reaction when a reporter asks her a question. Let's take a look at that too. All right.
Kids to be part of the arts, to be part of a drama club, a band, a choral group. It's a
okay, what happened here?
They want to join something,
Sorry.
especially in middle school and high
Hang
school
on.
and the rest.
Let me get this up too. Okay.
To be part of a drama club, a band, a choral group. It's a very positive thing. They want to join something, especially in middle school and high school and the rest. And it's a force for good. The poet Shelley once said, "The greatest force for moral good is imagination." Imagination, of course, to be creative, but imagination to put yourself in other people's shoes, to share experiences. I think we should view the arts in that way. Yes, sir.
Speaking of the arts, Kim Jong-un's been celebrating their ICBM launch with some cultural just wondered, you live in San Francisco, which seems to be on the verge of being threatened now by North Korea's missile program. Do you have confidence in the administration's approach on handling this issue? And if not, what do you think that they should change it?
Well, let me just say that I'm one of the few members of Congress who's been to Pyongyang, to the capital. Many members have been to Panmunjom, the border, but I've been to the capital.
So,
Kids.
that's that for that. But odd, a very, very odd reaction to the question being asked. She giggles like, and it was an odd, nervous giggle. Like, anyway, we're going to go on. We're going to see. So, now, she is one of the only people to have visited there. Very, very few, even past presidents, have visited Pyongyang. So, it's interesting that she's been there. She said she was there as part of the Intelligence Committee. That's interesting. So, Q says big error, big error. Pelosi admits travel to North Korea. Archive immediately. They have tried to cover this. Why is it relevant? Well, it's obviously relevant. These people will lose everything. Now, let's go on because Q provides us with a little bit more sauce to go on that. Now, Q refers to his own post here, and then underneath, he says, the importance of this cannot be expressed more clearly. Archive offline immediately. Offline only. Future events regarding intel trip to North Korea will make heads roll. Pompeo, most senior official to visit North Korea since. Future proves past. So, future events, something's going to happen in the future that's going to throw light on this regarding this intel trip to North Carolina, and it's going to North Carolina. Oh my gosh, where did that come from? To North Korea, and it's going to make heads roll. I hate it when heads roll. They roll all over the place. So Pompeo is the most senior official to visit North Korea since when? Well, let's go take a look. Okay, first of all, this is the first link, and this is just establishing that he recently made a secret trip to North Carolina. Where am I getting that from? I think it's because I've been thinking of, I used to live in North Carolina, and I've been thinking of moving, and it must be on my mind. Sorry about that. Mike Pompeo, CIA chief, made secret trip to North Korea. Because, really, if he had visited North Carolina, it really wouldn't have been that big a deal. It's a nice place and all, but it just wouldn't have garnered the media attention. Okay, CIA Director Mike Pompeo traveled to Pyongyang for a secret meeting with North Korea leader Kim Jong-un. U.S. President Donald Trump has confirmed a good relationship was formed at the meeting last week, Mr. Trump tweeted on Wednesday. News of the first visit emerged on Tuesday. U.S. officials were quoted as saying the aim was to prepare a summit between Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim. Mr. Trump had earlier alluded to a high-level direct talks with Pyongyang. But the unexpected and clandestine meeting marks the highest level U.S. contact with North Korea since 2000. We have had direct talks at extremely high levels, Mr. Trump said from Florida, where he is hosting Japan's Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but the president added that he gave his blessing for talks between the South and North to discuss a peace treaty to formally end the 1950 to 1953 Korean War. South Korea has also signaled that it may pursue formal resolution of the conflict. South Korea's President Moon Jae-in and Mr. Kim are due to meet next week. The two sides have agreed to broadcast part of the summit live, the South's state news agency Yonhap reported. So, what do we know about this secret meeting? The news that Mr. Pompeo has traveled to North Korea for a clandestine meeting with Mr. Kim was first reported by the Washington Post. The trip took place shortly after Mr. Pompeo was nominated by Mr. Trump to replace Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State. Two anonymous sources with direct knowledge of the trip told the newspaper. Now, they probably leaked that, I would assume. I would assume that that Trump leaked that because we know that they have fixed the leaks there. So anything that's leaking out now is intentional. Later, Reuters news agency said the report had been confirmed to them by senior officials. Early on Wednesday, Mr. Trump confirmed the reports with a tweet. And there's his tweet. All right. I'm not going to read all this, but sorry. All right. Let's go back out. Whew. Okay, let's go look at the other link. Just because we can. Okay. Now, before Trump met Kim, 6 other American leaders who visited North Korea. Trump may end up being the first sitting president to visit the Hermit Kingdom, but he sure won't be the first president to see North Korea from the inside. So, he's the first sitting president to ever visit North Korea. Not the only president, the only sitting president. So let's go and see who has visited in the past. Oh, well, of course. Anybody surprised? Anybody? I didn't think so. Okay. President Donald Trump could become the first sitting U.S. president to visit North Korea if plans for a summit with Kim Jong-un hold. But other prominent American political figures have visited Pyongyang, North Korea's capital, in the past, many with a similar goal of trying to stop its nuclear program. Carter makes history. Jimmy Carter made history as the first former U.S. president to visit North Korea in June 1994. Carter's unofficial 4-day visit included a meeting with then North Korean leader Kim Il-sung, the grandfather of current leader Kim Jong-un. His intervention headed off potential conflict and helped seal an aid for disarmament. Oh, I'm tired. Disarmament agreement that lasted nearly a decade. Now, when Madeleine met Kim, Madeleine Albright is the highest level U.S. official to visit North Korea while in office. And that was in 2000. So that's what Q is referring to. As Secretary of State, she met in October 2000 with leader Kim Jong-il, the father of the current leader. They discussed topics from missiles and terrorism to human rights. Albright's visit pushed U.S.-North Korea relations in a positive direction. Bill Clinton's surprise. On August 4th, 2009, former Bill Clinton arrived unannounced in North Korea on a mission to free 2 detained American journalists, Laura Ling and Yuna Lee. His visit came at a time when tensions were high over North Korea's nuclear program. I'm really trying to say that word right because I know it ticks people off. So how did I do? Nuclear. I have to think nuclear. Then leader Kim Jong-il granted a special pardon, freeing the 2 jailed journalists after he and Clinton held talks. So, not a whole lot of people been visiting the Hermit Kingdom. And I don't know when Pelosi went. Have no idea. But it's interesting, isn't it? Seeing as, she's not listed in here, so apparently it wasn't a well-known thing. When did she go? And why? Why would she have gone? Why her? I think those are questions that are going to need to be answered, and I think that that's probably has something to do with heads are going to roll. Yep, they're going to roll and roll and roll. And they're going to just keep rolling. Okay, let's go on. Now we're going to get to this. Anon writes, Pelosi said her concerns about the North's proliferation deepened after a trip to the North many years ago. When we went to Pyongyang and we talked about missiles, we talked about MIAs and POWs, which is missing in action and prisoners of war. I'm sure everybody knows that. We talked about home. We talked about a number of subjects, but about the missiles, because the development of missiles was a national security issue of concern, Pelosi said. They said, look, we just made these to sell. I'm sure that's the conversation they had. Look, we just made these to sell. Do you want some? It's kind of like, I don't know. We just made these apple pies. Would you like one? Would you like a slice? They said, look, we just made these to sell. You want to buy them? We'll sell them to you, she said. Wow. Okay. So North Korea was going to sell Nancy Pelosi, of all people, they were going to sell Nancy Pelosi their missiles. Hey, we just made these. You want some? They're tasty. They're right out of the oven. Good, fresh, hot missiles. Just for you. We'll give you 2 for 1. Or 25% off. Okay, so hopefully you're having as hard a time believing that as I am. If not, I worry about you. So Q refers to this post and says, the words used, intel, and buying/selling will bury her. Well, it won't bury her. I thought Q said her head was going to roll. I think her head should roll before they should bury her. Maybe her head will roll and then they'll bury her. That makes sense. Okay, I've reconciled it now. All right, think net worth. Yeah, think net worth. I can't remember how much she's worth, but it's a heck of a lot of money. Maybe that's how she got her money. Maybe she bought up those, hot, fresh missiles on a 2 for 1 deal. I don't know. But classified level highest. Q. So that's a bombshell, pardon the pun. All right, now this is interesting. Next, right after that, Q says, engineers, data mine Nancy Pelosi +1 +5, all. Architects, build profile 1 times D times 7, all. Eyes only, Q. I don't know. I think that he's saying to someone, not us, to data mine, to get all the information you can on Nancy Pelosi, +1 +5. Now, I don't know if he's meaning years or +1 person, +5 others from, I don't know. But 1 times Democrat times 7? I don't know. 5, 6, 7. If you count the Nancy Pelosi +1 and +5, it's 7. I don't know. Build profile. All. Eyes only. Q. So this, I don't think, is directed to us in any way, because there's no way that we could data mine Nancy Pelosi. We could probably find whatever they didn't want hidden that's out there, but or that they missed, because you know how they scrub the web. Anyway, let's go on. Now comes this bizarre thing. Breaking: man linked to 9/11 attacks on U.S. captured in Syria, Pentagon says. Reuters. Now, Q says, refers to this. This was dropped by an anon, and Q refers to this and says, who captured? Q. And we're going to come back to this. That's why I'm not pausing on it too long, because there's going to be more coming up. Now, another anon posted these. Well, no, they didn't post those. When I went out to this, they were posted on that. So I grabbed them so that we'd know what this was even talking about. Breaking memo. Trump told Comey he had serious reservations about former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's judgment. Breaking. AP obtains memos drafted by former FBI Director James Comey on interactions with President Donald Trump. Now, obviously, this anon was either just informing the board or wanting to know if it was true. And Q responds and says, memos are fake. Guided by Loretta Lynch, +3. Classified, think Supreme Court. All written, same time, Q. So these breaking memos are fake. And they're guided by Loretta Lynch and 3 others. On the Supreme Court, I would assume, because it says think Supreme Court. Now, an anon posts, I think it was an anon, hang on. Yes, it was an anon that posts this. And it's from Reuters. Man linked to 9/11 attacks on U.S. captured in Syria. Pentagon. Washington. Reuters. A man linked to the September 11, 2001 attacks on the United States, who was said to have praised violent jihad, was captured in Syria by U.S.-backed forces more than a month ago, the Pentagon said on Thursday. We can confirm that Mohammed Haidar Zamar, a Syrian-born German, that's a weird combination, a Syrian-born German national, was captured more than a month ago by SDF, Syrian Democratic Forces, partners as part of the ongoing operations to defeat ISIS inside Syria. Pentagon spokesman Eric Pahon said, using an acronym for Islamic State. The Syrian Democratic Forces are an alliance of militias in northern and eastern Syria. So that's who captured him. Q had asked who had captured him. We are working with our SDF partners to obtain additional details, Pahon said. The 9/11 Commission report, a congressional account of the 2001 attack, said Zamar was an outspoken, flamboyant Islamist who extolled the virtues of violent jihad. It said Zamar reportedly had taken credit for influencing Ramzi. Sorry, I hit the table that my thing was on. That was probably very loud. Sorry. Ramzi blah blah blah, who is accused of wiring money to September 11th hijackers and passing information to Al-Qaeda operatives, and Mohammed Atta, who led the attack on the World Trade Center in New York City. U.S. officials have said there are hundreds of foreign fighters and thousands of Syrian Islamic State militants in SDF custody. So, this Anon posted this and said who captured, and obviously they had outlined it in red, who had captured. And Q says here, refers to that and says, what makes a good movie? Q. Well, what makes a good movie? A good plot? Action? I would say a good plot. That's what I'd say. Now, interesting. I've never seen Q do this before, but he said question and answer, 5 minutes. Q. I wish I'd been in there at that time. No guarantee that he would have answered my questions, but hey, I could have tried. So, interesting that somebody asked, and this would have been one of the things that I asked, Hillary Rodham Clinton versus dark web video. Fake news? Q. Fake. We control. Q. So he's saying it's fake. What they're saying is out there on the dark web, it's fake. And we are in control of that video. We are. Meaning his team, Trump, Q, whoever. So, yeah, they didn't leak it to the dark web. They're in control of it. It's fake. So there you go. Right from the horse's mouth. Now, the next question someone asks is, Federal Reserve ending? And that's another good one. Q says structure. Q. Now, that's I would assume that what Q means is the Federal Reserve ending the structure is ending. The structure's changing. Now, what exactly that entails, I have no idea. But if it was totally ending, he would have said yes. But he didn't. And if it wasn't changing at all, he would have said no. So he didn't say either of those. He said structure, which means it's going to be there. It's going to have a different structure. Q. So that brings us up to date with the Q post, unless he has posted more in the meantime. I can't guarantee that I would do another video tonight if he has, but I will be sure to do one tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'm sorry that I'm late posting. I mean, I usually post this late, but I tried to get it done a little bit earlier. But anyway, you know, the best laid plans of what, mice and men. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Have a good rest tonight and stay safe.